The Auto Shop is one of the most unique businesses in all of GTA Online, as it combines a garage, a vehicle tuning center, and multiple mini heists all into one building. And if you're a beginner who's really into cars, there's no better business to purchase early on because you'll bypass GTA's rank requirements for car parts and immediately unlock everything at your personal auto shop. Plus, you'll get a 5% discount on parts compared to places like Benny's or LS Customs. And since you guys are here to make money with the auto shop, let me get one thing straight right from the start. If you're trying to make Kaio or agency levels of money per hour, you'll be disappointed because that's not what the auto shop does. However, if you want entertaining heists that don't overstay their welcome and are endlessly replayable while also having zero cooldown, the auto shop contracts are perfect for you. These are a throwback to the good old days of GTA Online before the missile bikes and sci-fi cars, which is why I still grind them pretty frequently today. But first, you're gonna need a location, and in order to get that, you'll have to visit the Los Santos car meet, where you'll watch this cutscene and the game will end up introducing you to Mimi. Then you'll be able to view all 5 auto shop locations on Mazebank foreclosures, and I recommend going with either the Burton or La Mesa location, as these two are the best spots due to their central placement. Both are priced around the $1.8 to $1.9 million range and come with a 10-car garage as well as a car lift installed by default. However, if you have Twitch Prime, you can get the Strawberry auto shop for free, and that's also a really nice location as it'll be right next to your hands-on car wash and your salvage yard if you bought the Strawberry salvage yard. So you can arrange all 3 of your active businesses in a nice little triangle and travel between them within seconds. As for what upgrades you should get, there are cosmetic options like style, tint, and emblem, which don't matter for money making, so unless you really want to bling out your shop floor, I'd suggest skipping these if you're on a tight budget. Then you'll see the option to install a second car lift as well as a personal quarters in the extras section, and these are actually functional upgrades, which means they affect your money grind. The personal quarters cost $340,000, and it gives you a bed for fast travel, a gun locker, and a wardrobe. I highly recommend grabbing this as it will allow you to spawn right inside your auto shop just by switching lobbies, which is an indispensable tool for any serious money grinder in this game. Then, if you fancy the customer car delivery side of the business, I'd also grab that second vehicle lift, as you can make $40,000 to $60,000 in profit in just 3 to 4 minutes by delivering 2 cars, one after the other. I wouldn't bother with staff members though, as they cost $385,000 each, and the AI for these guys is apparently based on the OG mechanic from the early days of GTA Online, aka Johnny Off the Spot, who is infamous for crashing your cars. And these staff members are no different here. They have to be habitual drunk drivers with the way they bust up customer vehicles, and after every delivery, Santa will send you a message detailing how much money you lost to damage fees. So yeah, a lot of players just don't bother with them and just deliver the vehicles themselves. Takes about 2 minutes max. And while we're on the subject of customer car deliveries, let me tell you exactly how it works. Every 48 minutes or one in-game day, there's a chance of spawning a vehicle in your auto shop. Notice how I said chance here, because it's literally 50-50 on whether you'll get a vehicle or not. So you log into the session, and after 48 minutes has elapsed, the game will roll the dice with 50% odds of a customer car spawning into your auto shop. If it fails, it'll wait under 48 minutes or one in-game day, and then it'll do another dice roll, and once again, with the same 50% probability. If it doesn't, you're now locked in for a guaranteed spawn within 10 minutes of the second failed dice roll. So in the worst case, you can spend up to 1 hour and 46 minutes before you get a car. However, there's a trick to speed this up: installing a second lift. This will cut all timers in half, so now instead of rolling the dice every 48 minutes, the game will do it every 24 minutes. And the other cool thing about the customer vehicle delivery service is that sometimes, not every time, but sometimes you'll get cars that were previously removed from in-game websites and aren't available to purchase. However, if one of these removed vehicles shows up in your auto shop, you can actually buy it off the NPC and keep it for yourself. Now here's the entire list of customer cars that you can actually get, and you'll notice that there's a few blacklisted models in there, like the Coquette Blackfin, the Vamos, the Riata, and the Serrano. If you're wondering how much money you can make, first you'll have to spend a certain amount of your own cash installing the custom mods, and all you have to do is follow the exact list that the game gives you at the bottom of your screen. It's super easy. New paint job, performance tuning, bodywork, wheels, you'll spend anywhere from 20 to 50 grand installing these parts. That's because customer cars come in 3 different tiers: low, medium, and high tier. With low-end vehicles, you'll make exactly $20,000 in profit if you deliver the vehicle in immaculate condition. With medium-end vehicles, you'll make $25,000 profit. And with the high-end vehicles, you'll net $30,000 profit. It's not a whole lot of money, but it's easy work, and you can double it by installing a second lift. Next, for the second type of money making with the auto shop, we've got exotic exports, and these will start appearing once you've done at least least one contract from the job board. Exotic exports are similar to Simeon's export requests, and every day Sasanta will send you a list of 10 vehicles via SMS on your phone. Some of these spawn on the streets, others are marked by blue dots around the map. You get paid exactly $20,000 per vehicle, and if you find all 10 vehicles for that particular day, there's a $100,000 bonus, so you can earn a maximum of $300,000 this way. You'll also get 50 reputation points for the LS car meet with each exotic export that you deliver. Once again, it's a nice little quick activity for some cash in between other jobs if it pops up, but nothing too special on its own. The auto shop also comes with a 10-car garage included within the base price, and you get a 5% discount on every single part. Of course, you can't modify weaponized vehicles here, as those require an MOC or Avenger with a vehicle workshop, and you also can't install HSW upgrades here, but other than that, everything else is unlocked right from the start. So you can be only rank 5 with an auto shop, and you can install wheels, turbos, anything that would normally require you to be rank 50, rank 75, even rank 100. And modifying the vehicles is super easy, as the mod shop is right there next to the garage. Just step in, press a button, and you'll see all the options on your screen. Then you can take your car for a test drive, jump into a new lobby, spawn back in your auto shop, and modify a different vehicle. It's all very streamlined, and in the long run, you'll save hundreds of thousands of dollars because of that 5% parts discount. But I know why you guys are really here, and it's not for the customer car deliveries or the custom paint jobs. You're here because you want to know how much money you can make with the auto shop. So I'll give you the details up front. Approximately $420,000 an hour, guaranteed, even if you're a little slow with your aim and don't have the best driving skills. But if you get a bit of practice in, you can take that figure up to 600 grand per hour, because each of these 8 mini heists can be done within 20 minutes. And yes, you can use your Oppressor Mark II or Sparrow for the 2 setup missions. You just can't use them in the finale, and that's fine, because I also have a few tricks that will significantly cut down your completion time on meta heists like the ECU job and Union Depository. So here's how it all works. First, you need to go to your job board, which is on the 2nd level, and there you'll find a randomized selection of 3 heists. Each one has exactly 2 setups and a finale. Payout varies from $170,000 all the way up to $300,000 for the Union Depository job, which is the exception to the rule with this business. Literally every other auto shop pays between $170,000 and $185,000. A lot of people grind Union Depository for that exact reason. It doesn't take any more time than the normal heists, and for some reason, it pays nearly twice as much. And my first tip here that you need to know is which auto shop contracts are worth grinding. Jobs like the data contract, while fun, don't pay as much money for the amount of effort you put in. However, if you do the ECU job or the super dollar deal or even the prison contract, you can optimize your income per hour. There is 0 cooldown between heists, but you can't repeat the same one over and over and over. So the ideal strategy here is to start with the Union Depository for a quick $270,000 in profit, then do either the ECU job or super dollar deal for another 150 grand. That's $420,000 right there in under 40 minutes. And if you want to go the full hour, you can add in a 3rd heist like the prison contract or the bank contract for your $600,000. Notice how the actual profit you make is slightly less than the total payout. That's because Sasanta and KDJ take a 10% cut. So while the Union Depository pays out a nominal amount of $300,000, once you factor in their cut, you're making $270K in pure profit. However, you can also make $10K for each setup mission. So in reality, it's more like $290,000 profit, which is not bad at all for less than 20 minutes of gameplay. Now let me give you some tips on how to speed up those setup missions and how to get the exact contract that you want. First, grab yourself that Oppressor Mark II or Sparrow. Even a VTOL fighter like the Raiju or the Hydra will work perfectly fine here. Just get something that flies. The second best option is a fast land vehicle like the Vigilante or the HSW Hakucho Drag. Then go to your job board in the auto shop and see which contracts are available. If you don't see a meta contract like the Union Depository or ECU job, simply start one of the random ones, walk outside of the shop, then text Sasanta and tell her to cancel your contract. Walk back inside after that, and you'll find that the job board has now refreshed. You can essentially re-roll the contracts as many times as you want until you get your favorite ones that you want to grind. Next, you'll have to do the setup missions, and these are generally pretty straightforward, but what a lot of people don't know is that you can actually skip certain missions entirely just by loading into a new lobby. Specifically, the signal jammer setup for the bank contract and the defenses setup for the data contract. So whenever you load into these 2 setup missions while playing through these contracts, just open up your GTA Online menu and load into a new invite-only lobby. The game will let you skip past them, count them as completed, and you will go straight to the finale, bringing your total completion time down to just 15 or 16 minutes per heist. A couple years ago, you could actually use your personal vehicles in the finale simply by driving up to a garage, which is how a lot of people got their hands on the Oppressor Mark II during some of the more annoying finales, but Rockstar has since patched that exploit, so you can't use it anymore. There was also another exploit in the Union Depository contract where players would get blackout drunk on pisswassers in the elevator and they'd spawn away from the police ambush outside the bank, but that one's also been patched. However, if you're doing the ECU job, I've got a technique here that will help you out in the finale and let you stop that train much faster. And there are two ways to do this. You can either use the sharpshooter loadout with the sticky bombs and heavy sniper, or you can pick the hustler loadout with the bullpup rifle and pipe bombs. If you go with the sharpshooter, simply place 2 sticky bombs on the track like this, and blow them up right as the train passes over them. If you time it properly, you can kill all 4 brake cylinders with 1 explosion. Alternatively, if you have the hustler loadout, you can climb this light post right here and drop onto the train engine. Then aim right here and toss your pipe bomb to blow out the first set of cylinders. Next, toss another pipe bomb by aiming here to blow out the second set of cylinders in the front. Finally, for the Union Depository contract, which is the highest paying mini heist in your auto shop, you can once again pick the hustler loadout and then kill these noose officers on your exit, turn left and take this cop car along this road to the La Mesa station, where then you'll find a Frogger on the roof. And this is the very same strat that players use to speed up the casino heist, by the way. Then simply pilot the Frogger to the drop off and you'll get there much faster while also losing your wanted level along the way. And there you have it, guys. These are all my top tips for money making with the auto shop in GTA Online. I think you can do all these missions in a reasonable amount of time with Sasanta's Tailgater S, but if you want an upgrade, get either the Jester RR or even better, the Calico GTF and install louvers in the back to make your car bulletproof. As always, thank you so much for watching this video. Don't forget to drop a like on it if you found it informative. Consider subscribing to the channel if you are new and you want to see more GTA Online content just like this. Check me out over on Twitch, Twitter, and Instagram, specifically twitch.tv/hazardoushdtv, and I will see you guys in the next GTA 5 online video.